G'day everybody, Mitch here again, and welcome back to your favourite Model T Ford channel. So in this video, as you would have seen in the title, we're taking another look at the Model T roller timer. Now the reason for this video is because over the last few weeks or so, actually I should probably preface this by saying you might remember I actually put this this new timer in about a year ago, last October I believe it was, so you can check out that video there. But no, the reason for this video is because over the last few weeks I have been noticing that the Model T has pretty much been running like a kangaroo with a prickle up its arse. And I was at a loss as to an explanation why. Turns out that the timer had actually been getting fairly significant wear and getting fairly worn quite badly inside. And but I didn't know this at first, and of course I was driving along, and then all of a sudden the engine is progressively starting to run worse and worse, and it's starting to develop a misfire. And as I say, I had no idea what was going on. I thought, oh, maybe I'm low on fuel, or maybe it's a coil issue or something like that. Pretty much doing what I always do and overthinking everything, when, as we all know, Model Ts are extremely simple. They couldn't really be any simpler short of being an electric car. We won't go there. But anyway, as I say, it did turn out to be something simple, and what it actually was is that the inside contact surface of the roller timer had actually developed, there was a series of ripples or corrugations in the surface. And the consequence of that is it was actually causing the roller to jump and occasionally it would jump on the non-contact area and completely jump over the contact strip here, or only partially contact it, and consequently that resulted in a misfire on that particular cylinder. And then as the roller came round again, it would pick up where it left off, and then occasionally it would cause a backfire, and all in all, the Model T wasn't running well at all. So to cut a long story short, what I went ahead and did, I already had this little gadget, which is an engraver, just a battery operated engraver, runs off a cordless drill battery, and I bought this in my local Bunnings hardware store. You guys would your closest relation to that in the States would be Home Depot, I believe. Anyway, I bought this this cheap engraving tool, and what it actually includes is this sanding head, which you just put these little sanding pieces on. Don't know if you can quite see that on the camera there. These little tiny sanding heads. Slide that on over the top, and centrifugal force does the rest and holds it in place. And what I was able to do by hand was carefully go around the inside of the timer. Now, keep in mind, I will preface this by saying it's not a perfect solution, but it's good enough to get you out of trouble until such time as you can buy a new timer cover. Anyway, so what I did was I put the the sanding head on, which on this one is just a simple case of locking the tip like so. Undo that. And we'll pop in the sanding head, tighten that up, like so. And I won't switch it on right now because I've already done this one, but basically all I was doing was very carefully going around and removing the high spots on the inside of the timer there. Now, obviously, the proper way to do this would to actually be to have a proper cradle that holds the timer cover, and then you then put that in a lathe, and then you'd use the lathe to actually machine that out properly. But unfortunately I don't have access to a lathe, so I had to improvise, which hence why I've used this tool to gently go around on the inside and tidy it up. Now of course you can use a Dremel as well. I know that you can get those in the US as well as here in Australia. My understanding is Dremel is a pretty well-known brand in the States. So the same thing can be achieved with a Dremel with a sanding head on it, and to just gently and very carefully take off the high spots all the way around. So not just on the contacts, but on the insulated portions between the contacts as well. So that's what I did on this one, and I also had I also had my original timer as well, which came with the car when I bought it, and I gave that one the same treatment because it also had a badly worn rippled surface, and also it had a high point all the way around I suppose you say the outside edge. There was a high point all the way around here. So I just used the sanding headers again to carefully sand that off and try and get it as consistent a finish as possible, doing it by eye and by hand. As I say, the best tool for the job would most certainly be a lathe, but as I say, I don't have access to one. So yeah, that's basically what I did. And so if your Model T is behaving badly and got random misfires, take a look inside your timer, because although it's a pretty solidly well built component, doesn't matter how solidly well built it is, it's still a disposable part. It does wear out, as does your roller. Now this one here is funnily enough, it's the roller that came with the car, and it's still engraved. I'll show you a picture of it in a moment. It's still engraved with the Ford script on there. So whether or not this is the absolute original one that came with the car when it was new, maybe, maybe not, who knows. That said though, this roller has a high spot on one side which would cause it to ride funny inside the timer. Now, because this is obviously on a bearing, I don't really have a steady enough hand to machine this down, certainly not by eye anyway. So what I did was, the new roller that came with this timer is on the car, and the old timer that this roller was working with is on the car also. So mismatched parts, but at the moment I say Liz is running absolutely beautiful until such time as the new timer comes. I have got one on order, so we'll see, we'll see how well Liz runs with her freshly machined original timer, and I'll leave that one in for now because it's actually working perfectly. As I say, this was done by eye. I don't have access to a lathe, but what I've put back in the T now is actually running really, really well. I took it for a drive just before I started making this video, and she didn't misfire once, so I must have gotten something right. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this video. If you've got any questions or comments, obviously chuck those in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys, as always. And yeah, look, don't forget to like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you can be kept up to date when I put out a new video for you guys. But as always, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.